Okay, let's go again. It's another week, and that means another SRL Asia Pacific PCF1 League race. We are here in Belgium today, and it should be a good race. We have 9 people here today. Not as many as I would assume all of the drivers in the field and me would have wanted, but it should be just about enough to create an exciting race. So qualifying is underway now, and the drivers are gonna head out on track to set their first lap times. And I've gotta say, Belgium is one of those tracks where it's difficult to get the right setup in terms of stability and straight line speed, but it's so good to be overtaking around here. Especially with the ERS on this game compared to last game on 2017, which you didn't have. Overtaking is much easier now and much more fun too. So really qualifying doesn't mean anything here. As long as you got a good race setup and a good strategy, you are gonna come out on top. Regardless of where you qualify. And if you don't get damage, of course, that's a crucial part as well. So if you can do these things, then you are in a good position. So Apollo Pepsi is going to be the first driver to start a hot lap. And he's going to do it on the soft compound tire, the middle compound. You don't necessarily need to do it on this track. The tires can hold out quite easily here. But let's see what the first lap times are going to be. First sector time is at 30.1. It's not terrible. But certainly not the greatest. Especially considering he's on a harder compound too. So that's gonna be playing a part as well in being a little bit slower. Then this corner pull-on is really nice to get it right, but can really suck if you get it wrong. Hello Billy, welcome to the stream. I haven't seen you around before, so welcome to the channel as well. And it's quite funny actually that I live in a country with quite huge gaps between holidays, and every time on a Friday I have so much luck. It's unbelievable. As Apollo Pepsi says, 144.8. Really not a great time. You want to be at least a second and a half quicker than that on the softs, I would think, but maybe he's going to go again later in the session on the same set of softs, considering the tire wear is not that big. But I just want to say that I'm able to commentate today. We have had some national holiday in the Netherlands yesterday. And that allowed me and everyone else in this country to stay home the next day, because it wouldn't make sense to go back to school for one day. So I'm off school, and that means I can commentate. So that's great. Insane luck. It's cool though. I want to mention something else as well, which is more relevant to the league. We have a new driver in the league, which is Revo, or however you want to pronounce his name. I just saw his sign up pop up about an hour ago. So he is a new driver in the league, and I think he is replacing Rain Campo, who is, I believe, racing back on Xbox again in that Asia Pacific League. And if not, he is not racing at all in SRL anymore. Which would be quite a shame, because he's actually a good driver, so don't quite understand what you mean, degree, but I think you are referring to Lemon. I mean, I could try and replicate his legendary start sequence and just say they are moving. But it wouldn't be quite as funny, let's be real. Hello Richard, welcome again. You being combined YouTuber's race engineer again today, keeping track of the penalties. But so far, Rafa on his debut is doing a good job as Apollo Pepsi has hit the wall. So his lap is going to be over, and I don't know how, but he doesn't have any wing damage, at least what I can see. That's quite cool, that he didn't get any damage. But I was about to say that so far we have quite a lot of times on the board already. We have 6 times, and at the moment Vrefel is on provisional pole. 9 tenths ahead of Pencil. And 141.9 is actually a pretty decent lap time. Still not perfect, of course, considering the esports guys can do low 1 minute 40s and even high 139s if you are Formula Danny, so... But yeah, it's good to see that someone making his debut today is in the front. Yes, Pencil, what's up? I wish it were like that in Australia, the holiday thing. I mean, I don't even know what it actually is. I know it's got something to do with World War II or something, but that's as far as I can go. I'm using load cells and have done no practice on them, so it won't be much. Looking forward though. Well, good luck in the race then. I will say just take it slowly and take it lap by lap. Get more comfortable with it. But with 9 minutes remaining, we are gonna see the drivers in the pits now, getting ready for their second run, or third run even. But I think most of these guys are gonna do 3 runs in the session and not 4. Don't think it's actually possible to do 4 runs, but yeah. I mean, it might be. Nah, it's not. Would be like 5.5 minutes to get out, set a lap and come back in. Then you would have to drive an outlap in 25 seconds and you're not gonna make that. So. But Capelé is on a soft compound tires coming across the line to, I believe, start a lap. So let's go on board with him into turn 1. Pretty decent access from him there. Up to Eau Rouge, one of the most difficult corners on the circuit. Many people think it's easy flat out, but on this game, without the right setup, which is really hard to find, you can't really take it flat out without losing the back end. Capeles seemed to do that well though, so obviously having a good setup. I actually remember last year in the F1 beta where I took part in that everyone was struggling with Eau Rouge, and we were just reporting it to the devs and they were like, yeah, you guys just figure the setups out because it's gonna be easy flat with the right setup. And eventually we did, like a few months ago, and no one is really complaining about it anymore. But for new drivers it can still be an issue. I believe Pencil and Railfan are laps now as well, so After this lap from Capelais, we are gonna go on board with them. So Capelais comes onto the start-finish straight, and he's going to do a 1:43.7, and he moves himself up into P3. That's 14 thousandths ahead of Alpha Blue in the Toro Rosso. Technically his teammate too, because it's part of the Red Bull family. Not quite the same car and actual team though. And Bristol takes P3 now from Capelais, 8 tenths ahead of him. And about a second behind the pole time. Okay, Pencil is going to finish his lap now. Let's see what he does. A tenth of an improvement, and Revo also a tenth of an improvement, and almost moves the gap to a full second to Pencil. That might be the pole already, considering Pencil is driving on a setup he is not used to, and usually he is the fastest driver of the field. Of course, Ren Campo, who is not here anymore in the PC League, was quite up there with him too, and sometimes even faster than him. But yeah, as he's not there, Pencil is the fastest driver in general in the field. Oh, Apollo Pepsi is off there. Quite easy to do at Puhan, to be fair. If you just clip the inside curb a little bit too much, you are gonna get oversteer. And considering you are mostly on a hot lap on this track in quali, if you're out on the track, you're just gonna lose the back end way too easily. It's just really difficult to keep the car in a straight line there. If you're on an outlap or an inlap, you are not going to push as much, so it's a lot easier to catch the car if you happen to do that. Which is quite unlikely, because if you're on an out of an or an inlap, you are not going to hit the curbs at any point. Or at least you don't have to, or don't want to. But that's what I personally have, so I don't know about these guys, but yeah. Let's see what Apollo Pepsi is going to do. No, he's gonna go into the pits. Sort of expected it. He was just going so slowly that I thought maybe he was gonna do another lap, but he's going into the pits to get some new tires on, and hopefully he can get back out on the track in time. I think he will though. Quite comfortably. And Pencil's chair is moving, bringing up the excuses already. So, as usual, the final 3 minutes basically means that everyone is going to go out on the track to prepare and set their fastest lap times. And we have combined YouTube out on the track right now. So far the slowest lap time for him. About half a second behind Apollo Pepsi. So he's going to look to improve on that. I believe he is one of the 2 pad users in the field. I think either Capelais or Torpedo is the other one. Or even the Real SD. I'm not too sure who uses the pad, but I am fairly sure there are 2 people. I know for sure that Pencil and Bristol are no wheels. So combined YouTuber starting his hot lap now. Let's see what he can do and how far up the field he can get. Into turn 1. Not necessary to take the curb. You can run multiple lines through there. You can do a switchback. So a late entry to the corner and cut back. You can do a late apex. You can just do a normal apex. Whatever, as long as you just get a good run into onto the straight, then you are fine. 30.3 in the first sector. I think that was what Apollo Pepsi was doing on the softs. 2 tenths slower than Apollo Pepsi, and he did a 44.8. So far I think he is improving by around 3 tenths on his lap. And that would, unfortunately for him, still be last. Will be a lot closer though to the rest of the field. I'm kind of hoping Pencil can jump up to Revo, to be fair. But we have 2 retirements in the qualifying session, Capolace and BRL Torpedo, so these guys are happy with their lap times. And they're just gonna wait until the end of the session. This combined YouTuber comes into the bus stop chicane now. Pretty nice apex there. Pretty decent exit too, and that's gonna be a 43.1. And it was invalidated, so that's really unfortunate for him. That would have been P4 on the grid. So I don't think he's gonna be too happy about that one. As Revo has retired too, so it's up to Pencil now to see what he can do and how close he can get. Or how far ahead he can get. If that's even possible for him. I mean, Nimble, the turnout might be bad, but at least we have clean drivers here today. So Pencil didn't improve, Bristol did, so he is about 7 or 8 tenths behind Revo. And Pencil might not have improved because he invalidated his lap as well. But I think this is going to be the field because the real SD is not on a hot lap and combined YouTuber. Well, he might be on a hot lap because he's 1.7 seconds up on the second sector split. But he won't have as much ERS as he would have liked. But here he comes though. 43.1 again. And is that... Yes, that's 4th for him. So, a good comeback lap from him. Good to see him get into the field. Well, he is into the field, it's not Indy, but good to see getting into the top 5 from him. So, Revo, sorry, on SRL debut gets the pole from Bristol, Pencil, combined YouTuber, the real SD, Apollo Pepsi, Capolace, Alpha Blue, and BRL Torpedo. Now we have 3 drivers on the softs, and therefore 6 on the super softs. So now it's time to go into the race. That was a one-time thing. Well, if it was a one-time thing, why did you just do it then? And be so mad about the steward's verdict? If you know you are in the wrong. It makes no sense. Anyway, let's just focus on the race and have a fun live stream. But before we start the race, I just want to remind you all that tonight at 9 p.m. European time, so CEST, we have the European PC F1 League live stream on twitch.tv/Raggy. I'll put it in the chat again. Hold up. There we go. So tonight we have the European PC F1 League, and next week we have the Xbox One Asia Pacific F1 League at 12 a.m. European time. So that is, wild guess, 8 p.m. for Australia. And then about an hour later we have the start of the PC League, which is of course this league. We are right now streaming. Well, I'm streaming it, and these guys are racing it. So be sure to tune into those live streams, if you have time of course. But drives on the formation lap now. And let's get the graphics up to get the information we need. We always have the tire graphic. Let's go with position changed for once. Gap to leader. And that should be good. I'm quite curious to see what Rafael can do in this race. And let's see what his setup is like. It was a great performance from him in qualifying, but good qualifying pace doesn't always mean that your race pace is going to be good. I have experienced that myself quite a lot at the start of this game, especially in AOR. Just qualified really well and then found out a few weeks into the season that I ran TT setups, which I thought were race setups. So that, yeah, didn't help me too much. But of course, every driver had that at the start of the game, I think. And now that we are so far into the game cycle that everyone doesn't have that anymore. At least you wouldn't expect it. But the cars are lining up on the grid now. And we are getting ready to get this Belgian Grand Prix underway. After this race we have 3 races remaining. That is Italy, Japan and Brazil. So, here we go. The lights are gonna come on the screen. And we have 9 drivers lined up. And we are gonna get racing here at the circuit of Spa-Francorchamps, and we are underway. Rafael leads the field into turn 1. Already 3 right into turn 1 there behind. And that's Pencil staying in P3. Always looks so dramatic in the back, even though there's not really much going on. But the entire field single file already. Of course preparing for that straight here. Apollo Pepsi running slightly wide. A combined YouTuber is going to take the opportunity to get past him. There's a bit of lag for the Haas driver there, so if I were a combined YouTuber I would be kind of scared actually, but he's going to make the move around the outside. No, he doesn't. Apollo Pepsi gets back in front, and the real SD has got a perfect position to watch this from. There's a 2.2 second gap already to the leaders from Apollo Pepsi, and the top 3 is already gone. That's how easy it is to lose time when you are battling on another driver. And it's only lap 1, so this is really not going to help these drivers too much. You are really DRS dependent on this circuit. If you lose the DRS you're going to lose so much time to the cars in front. And it could also mean that your race is already over. So I think Apollo Pepsi just wants to push on and get inside the 1 second range again of Pencil to get that DRS. Let's get the intervals gaps up. There we go. So biggest mover in the field is Apollo Pepsi. 2 positions gained from the start. Combined YouTuber lost 1 and the real SD lost 1 as well. And there we go. Rafael still leading the way. 149.4. Of course, he's the first driver to cross the line, so automatically he gets the fastest lap. And let's see what these drivers can do without using the DRS, because it's lap 2. Keep in mind that DRS will be open the next lap. Oh! Yep, there's contact, and that was Capelais, I believe, on the real SD. Yes, it is. I was about to say there wasn't any overtakes happening on the straight, which I was surprised about, but then I saw that dive bomb from Capelais. And then that happened, and Capelais knows he's in the wrong, so he lets the real SD through, so that's really nice of him to do. Good sportsmanship. Of course, if it were F1 2018 career mode, you would make jokes about Red Bull promoting sportsmanship. Or showmanship, sorry. But yeah, good to see from Capelais that he waits for him. Let's go back up into the field. And the gaps are already starting to spread out a little bit. The gap from Apollo Pepsi to Pencil is still outside of 1 second, so that's really not helping him too much. And Risto and Pencil also drop out of 1 second of each other. And Revo, so no DRS for the top 4. In the top 10, combined YouTube and Capelais will be the only drivers with DRS on the straight. Here goes combined YouTuber. Bit of overspeed there, and he tries to go around the outside, but not quite able to do so. And Capelais got in front of the real SD2. And he lets him back past again. Don't know why that's happening, but maybe he still feels a little bit bad about that incident the lap before. So he doesn't really want to overtake yet. But from that Capelais, the real SD incident, Alpha Blue and Torpedo gained the positions from them. Oh, what happened to combined YouTuber? And he's off. And that reminds me of last season, where a certain combined YouTuber also lost it at the exact same corner. Some drivers in the league are still memeing about it. It's actually quite funny. But combined YouTuber is under pressure right away from the real SD2. Let's see what Capelais is gonna do on the DRS straight after turn 1. Because he is nowhere near close enough to make a move here. And I don't think he's close enough to make a move into turn 1 as well. So he's going to have to wait for our rules ready on, and then I believe it's the Camel straight. Well, here we go. Combined YouTuber in the gearbox of the real SD, and he's popping out, and he is going to get that overtake done, I think. Yep, and he gets it done. Capelais is getting really close to the back end of the Sauber too, but luckily he didn't damage his wing, and Capelais gets a penalty there. It's a really hard corner on your track limits there. Sometimes a little bit too hard as well. And Pencil has gotten in front of Bristol as well. They are battling, in fact. Pencil gets back in front. Sorry, stays in front. Never mind. Oh, Pencil made a little bit of a mistake there. That allows Bristol to have a good exit. Let's see what's gonna happen into turn 1. Nope. Bristol's not gonna do a dive bomb there. Thankfully he didn't. And BRL Torpedo has gone into the pits now. Don't know what that's for. He might have wing damage. I'm not too sure about that. You can take the supers to at least lap 6. So it's actually quite an early pit stop, but seems to be a regular one as he's not getting any wing changes. So he gets back out on the circuit on the medium tires. It is a safer strategy to do. It could also be the quickest, just depends on how you execute it. It is also possible to go to the softs, but then you have to stretch the supers to at least lap 9, possibly lap 10 as well, and then go to the softs. But you really need a conservative tire setup for that. Tire conserving setup, sorry. Alpha Blue and Apollo Pepsi not battling. Apollo Pepsi made a mistake there. Not great for him. And Alpha Blue is now the biggest mover in the field. That was a nice voice crack for me there. Can't wait to get memed about it. But Apollo Pepsi is now under pressure from the Red Bull of Capelés now as well. As Pencil pits. I think he's also going to the mediums. And Combined YouTuber has gone into the pits as well. Getting onto the mediums a little bit earlier than I thought he would. Or they would, should I say. Oh, Capelés has so much more speed into Eau Rouge, he had to back up a little bit. But he is in front now with the DRS. And don't do that, Apollo Pepsi. Thank God. It would have been pretty disastrous for both of them if he did that. Pencil gets a penalty. And in the back they're battling. There's a car going off the circuit, that's BRL Torpedo. Of course, both of them on mediums now. Torpedo pitted the lap earlier, so his tires are going to be a little bit warmer. But from how it looked in the first stint, Combined YouTuber has more pace, so that's going to help him out later on. Of course, Torpedo is going to be able to pull away a little bit now because his tires are simply warmer and have more grip. But in a lap or two, he's going to lose that advantage, and Torpedo, Combined YouTuber is going to be right at the back of him. As Vrista and Ravel have now pitted as well. And as expected, they are going to the mediums. Let's see what Vrista's gonna do. Yep, mediums. There he goes. Oh, again moving in the back of the pack. Combined YouTuber gets in front of Torpedo like I expected. Pencil's right at the back of Rafa here. Let's see what's gonna happen. Oh, that's so close there. That's a little bit too close for comfort in my opinion, but he's on the inside. Rafa turns into the corner. I'm not gonna make a guess at whose fault that was. I'm just gonna go over it and look at the stewards reports after. But Pencil gets in front. What I think is actually a decent overtake from Pencil there. But Rafa is going to come back at him. Into Arouge. Don't go side by side. Tank, please. Oh, yes. And Rafa pops out again. And gets back in front of Pencil. Into Lacombe corner. And Pencil is getting so close to him. It's really surprising considering he's on a harder compound. A little bit wide. Probably both of them got a warning for it, knowing the track limits on this circuit. But now Rafa is pulling away a little bit. Now his tires are out of temperature as well. I have noticed a lot over the course of the game. I still notice it now. But it really depends on your driving style how quickly you can warm up the tires. Some people can warm them up way quicker than others. Especially in qualifying, for example at Germany. I race in AOR PCF2 and I know a guy called Rainer that he can heat his tires up quite quickly and put a lap time out right away. And I have to warm my tires for almost 2 laps to get them up to temperature. So that can be a really big advantage for any driver that can do that. And of course not only him can do that really quickly, many others in the league and on the entire game can do it a lot quicker than me and other people. So that can really make the difference. And out and in laps, and there's 2 cars going off. That's Rafa and who's that? That's SRL SD. What happened there? I haven't seen it, so I don't know what happened. I have the stream open, so maybe I can catch a little bit of it. Oh no. Yeah. I think the real SD lost the backhand into Arouge and Rafa was coming flat out and he just had nowhere to go really and he just went into his side and yeah, that was it. Both of these drivers' races are over now. Rafa is going to have to drive back to the pits because I'm basically certain that he has wing damage. He has to have wing damage because he just hit him on the side, so I don't see how he could have gotten away with that. I don't actually see any wing damage, but surely there must be some at least. Alpha Blue's into the pits now too. Let's see where he's going to come out. But out of all of that, Pencil gained the lead. 3.5 seconds in front of Bristol. That's almost 10 seconds in front of Rafa. But Alpha Blue goes to the softs, yes. And he's coming out in P3 in front of Rafa. And Rafa has not pitted. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is damage, but just to be sure I'm going to check. vehicle damage is off. Okay, that's weird. It should be on. But that explains a lot why he didn't have any damage. That's an error from whoever made the lobby then, because it should be on, it's in the rules. Don't know what's gonna happen with that, to be fair. Well, here goes Rafa putting pressure on Alpha Blue. On the inside of Pool here, and he makes the move. And up into P3 now. And where's Alpha Blue gone? Alpha Blue is gone off the track because he didn't expect Rafa to commit to it. But yeah, Rafa into P3 now. Making up lost ground with that incident, of course. And it is indeed a cheeky host. I don't know what's going to happen with it. When I joined SRL as an admin, I was actually managing the America League because it died off a little bit, so I tried to help them out. And they didn't run the full lobby settings, and I was like, because it was too significant, I was like, yeah, then the race doesn't count towards the standings. So, let's see what's going to happen with this, because I'm quite sure that the rules say it must be on, so... I mean, it would absolutely suck for all of these drivers to spend an hour and a half to race and then it being undone, basically. I mean, that's what I don't hope for them, but I mean, it's a rule, so they have to put it in the lobby. But yeah, enough about that. Let's just look at the race. As Alpha Blue got a penalty there into Eau Rouge. There we go. Alpha Blue and Capales are battling. The Toro Rosso versus the Red Bull. Of course, the car performance is equal, so it doesn't really matter which car is faster because they are about as fast, except for setups which make them less fast or faster. Really sounds weird, but yeah. Yes, what's with the 9 drivers? Better than 6. I don't know if they will restart Degree. I'll ask Pencil later, because I think he is the lobby host actually. But I'll ask him why the damage was off. I think by default the damage is off, so maybe he forgot to change it, I don't know. It is quite important for the race, of course, to have damage on. Because like what happened with Rafa, if the damage was on, I'm quite sure that he would have at least had no front wing at all, and at the worst he would have been out of the race, so yeah. I mean, it's not their fault, the driver's fault, it's the lobby host's fault for not putting the settings up correctly. So nothing to take away from Rafa, he just does what is asked and he just drives, so... What's in the back? Alpha Blue and Torpedo went off the track, yes, that's what happened. There's a lot of action which I'm missing, unfortunately, I'm sorry about that. I'm just not paying too much attention now because I'm still thinking how could you forget to put the damage on. But anyway, everyone in the field except Capales is outside of the 1 second range, so let's go to him. And Alpha Blue is on the softs and Capales is on the mediums, but surprisingly Capales is not actually losing time compared to Alpha Blue. I mean, he's just pulling away a little bit in sector 2 because that's where the tire grip matters. And I think Apollo Pepsi just went off because he lost the position again to Torpedo. And Revo is now inside 1 second as well of Bristol. I just want to go on board with them because this is more at the front and in my opinion more important. Here goes Revo and Bristol doesn't even fight it. He just knows that he's going to lose the position. And Revo into P2 now. 4 seconds behind Pencil. And he is on a mission. He was 10 seconds behind Pencil just 4 laps ago when he had that incident. He's already catched up 7.5 of it. 6.5, sorry. And Bristol's already losing time to Revo, so Bristol's going to look to get the podium today. Just look at how much time Revo is gaining on Pencil. Bristol's just following Revo at the moment in the slipstream. I will do the same to be fair. And Pencil gets a 5-second stop-go penalty for exceeding track limits. That will probably be reduced to a warning. And Revo with the fastest lap as well, proving he's pushing a lot. But back to Pencil. It is a bug in the game that if you cut the chicane a little bit, like you don't have to actually cut it much, just a little bit. If you have 1 or 2 warnings, you get a 5-second stop go, which is of course totally unfair. So I would think Pencil is going to report it to the stewards and they're going to remove it. And Torpedo actually disconnected and rejoined. So that explains why Apollo Pepsi just made up a lot of time there. And he's in front now too, passing the ghosted car. But yeah, that penalty from Pencil will probably be reduced to a warning. And if he does have 2 other warnings, it will be a 3-second penalty instead of 5. So then 2 seconds will be taken off. And Revo is still continuing to gain a lot of time on Pencil. So until these front 2 guys get into the 1 second range, I want to keep an eye on these 2. Alpha Blue and Capolace. The closest 2 cars on the track right now. Oh, I just see on the stream, Revo also got a 5-second stop-go penalty for cutting the chicane. I think that was the only point he could have done that. So both Pencil and Revo have 5-second stop-goes. Again, they will probably be reduced to a warning or 3-second penalty. So for both of them we have to remove 2 seconds just in the mind. And Capolace gets a penalty now as well, as Torpedo pits. I think he's just going to for the fastest lap right now, to be fair. And he's going to the softs. Yes, and he moves. Might have been a wing change. No, that's not, because damage is off. 200 IQ, Julian. Yes. Anyway. Revo is now inside 1 second of Pencil. And Pencil will be like, please don't. Because I know Pencil wants to win this. I believe he is the championship leader as well. And any points that you lose, regardless of whoever it is going to hurt you in the championship. Let's actually look up the standings real quickly. So Pencil's leading from Mutant, I believe he is not here today, by 31 points. So if he would lose 7 points, that could still be dangerous in the championship. If Mutant races the final 3 races of the season and wins all of them, then Pencil is going to lose the championship probably, if he finishes third or low in every race. So Pencil just wants as many points as possible. Every driver wants as many points as possible, to be fair, but especially in Pencil's case. But Revo is getting really close to the back of Pencil now, and I am pretty sure that we are going to see an overtake attempt. If not on the start-finish straight, we will see it on the straight after Arusha and Radion. We might already see it here, into the bus stop. Ooh, both of them running slightly wide. Just about managing to not hit the wall, and Pencil's already going defensive. And Revo is not quite close enough to make a dive bomb here. And Pencil knows it, so he's not defending there yet. But we have now come to the point that Revo's tires will be going off slightly quicker than Pencil, so slowly and more slowly Revo will lose performance. As Revo hit the back of Pencil there. But no damage, because damage is off. Oh, I almost lost it there. But here goes Revo. And Pencil knows that he's defending again, but I don't think it's going to matter much, because Pencil is just a sitting duck on the straight right now. And Revo is trying it around the outside here. Pencil still fighting it. Surprisingly, side by side now for the 2 race leaders. And Revo is going to not make it stick yet. Pencil still on the inside, and I have to actually get my remote control because my monitor is going to turn off in 30 seconds if I don't hit a button. There we go. But Pencil holding on to the lead so far, and that shows that he just wants to win this race, and he needs to win this race as well, just to have more what's the word I'm looking for? Comfortable, just to be more comfortable in the championship. Just to have more comfort, that was the word. Just remove a few letters and you had it, Julian. But yeah, Pencil just wants to stay in front to make it easier for himself in the final races in the championship. And I think Revo knows as well that he is not gonna fight for the championship anymore, because we have after this race we have 3 races remaining. So yeah, I don't think Revo is actually gonna fight it too hard, because he doesn't want to mess up Pencil's race, I think. He did have a look though, trying to put Pencil off a little bit. But we are now at the point of the circuit again that we are going to see another overtake attempt from Revo. Here he goes into the slipstream again. And he's already alongside here. And this time it's much easier to make it. And Pencil this time not fighting it as hard again. He's probably just going to try his hardest and stay in the slipstream to get back at him. But can we just point out, Capelle's, his best finish this season is P6, is that correct? Yes, it is P6 in round 2 in Bahrain. And he's now in P4, so that's 2 positions better than his personal best so far. And he's doing a really good job in this race. Showing good pace right from the start. And it's good to see him fighting for the top 5 positions for once. Of course, he has had quite an inconsistent season. In round 1 he finished P11, round 2 P6 as I just said, round 3 P11 again, round 4 DNF, round 5 DNS, round 6 P9, and then round 7 again a DNS. Of course, DNS meaning did not start, and did not start means that he didn't attend the race. And Rafa running slightly wide there, but Pencil not able to do anything. So back to Capelais, doing a good job so far today. And I personally really hope for him that he can hold on to it. Alpha Blue is actually doing a good job too, P5. He's had 3 points finishes so far this season, 2 DNS and 1 DNF. He finished 9th in round 2, P12 in round 5, 10th in round 6, and then 8th in round 7, sorry. I combined YouTubers into the pits. And he is surely going for the fastest lap there. Wasn't able to gain as much anymore on the drivers ahead, so he just fancies a shot at the fastest lap of the race, because why not? It's what everyone does in the race if they're bored and there's not much to gain anymore. Yellow flags, what's that for? Apollo Pepsi's off again. And he'll reset to the track. Actually quite controversial in this league. But no drivers were around him, so it should be fine. Yeah, imagine if there was damage. I know it sucks a lot, to be fair. But at the time I found out we were already so far into the race, it was literally pointless to do it now. It's already getting quite late for these guys, I think. It's already like 10, 11 PM for most of these guys in Australia. I know Capelais is from India, so it's a lot earlier there. It's like 5, 6 PM there, I think. Or 7. But now Rafa's in front, he's not really pushing as much anymore. He got what he needed and wanted. I believe Pencil's still pushing for P1, but Rafa's just a lot quicker right now. I mean, his tires will be going off for sure, but Pencil, like he said earlier in the chat, is driving with a setup that he is not familiar with. He's still getting used to that, so he's not at his peak performance. Yes, it is 1 PM in the UK, but this is the Asia Pacific League, so it's later for them because of time zones. It is 10 PM in Australia. Thanks, Degree, for that. Again, yellow flags. The real SD spun. Torpedo has spun for sure. Well, didn't actually spin, but just hit the wall there. I don't know. I think the real SD spun as well. So the 2 Saubers in trouble. We haven't actually covered Rissel that much in this race, so let's give him a few seconds of screen time. Who else haven't we given a lot of screen time? Capelais maybe? Yeah. So let's get him on the stream for a little bit. Combined YouTuber with the fastest lap now as well. Of course, as expected on the Super Softs. Alpha Blue, a little bit of screen time. We have given him some earlier in the race, so Apollo Pepsi And then the real SD here. 1.6 behind a bottle Pepsi, so that's actually a battle going on in the back. And then BRL Torpedo here as well. But as I said earlier, I apologize for missing out a little bit of the action. I just feel like I missed a lot, but it's probably not as much as I think it is. But Revo is coming into the final few corners. To not finish the race, he's going to have to do one more lap. But I doubt much is going to happen in the rest of the field, so let's go on board with him for the final lap of the race. So here he goes. And he's actually going into hot lap mode, so maybe pushing, I don't know. We don't know how many penalties Revo has gotten though. We do know Pencil and Revo both have a 5-second stop go, which is unfair of course, for cutting the chicane, which will be reduced or removed at all. Of course, if it gets reduced, it will be 3 seconds instead of 5. These 2 seconds might be just what they need to restore. Now just get the real SD on standby because he is inside of a second, so if he goes for an overtake we can jump right to him. And Revo is for sure pushing, lighting up these rear tires. Ooh, almost lost it there. And the real SD has dropped out of the 1 second range, so probably we won't see an overtake for him anymore. So into the final sector Revo goes, and he's going to, I believe, win this race if he doesn't lose out on penalties, of course. And he's driven such a great race today on his SRL Asia Pacific debut, and he's just been the best driver today. Pencil came close, but he's going to have to take second. But here goes Revo, wins the Belgian Grand Prix in SRL Season 8. Congrats to him. And Pencil comes across the line in P2. Good result for the Mercedes driver there. I think he would have wanted these 7 points more, but he still extends his championship lead anyway. And Bristol jumps to P2 actually from penalties. Capollet's got P4. Really nice result from him there. Good result from Alpha Blue too, who actually spun a few moments ago before crossing the line, but it doesn't really matter anymore, I think. And then combined YouTuber takes P6, and he is not happy about this race. You can tell from him crashing into the wall. But still 8 points for him. And then we now have to wait for the real SD and Apollo Pepsi to cross the line. Not great races for these final three, but at least they got to the finish without any big trouble. They did spin a few times, of course, but because of the damage was off, they could just finish the race without a problem. Of course, as Mutant didn't race today, Pencil is 49 points ahead of Mutant in the standings. So, if Pencil gets 1 point in Italy, the next race, then he's already wrapped up the championship. But that's for later. Revo wins the race here in Belgium for the Force India team. And Bristol in P2, that's actually really good from him there. Getting less penalties than Pencil. But here we have the end result. Revo wins in front of Bristol by less than half a second. Bristol only got 1 penalty, and that's actually really special for this track. In my opinion, because I always get 6 seconds or more. But Pencil gets P3, Capelets P4. Again, good result from him. Alpha Blue also good result from him in P5. Combines YouTuber, decent race for him. Again, he wasn't really happy with it as he pressed himself into the wall in P6. And we had the Real SD, Apollo Pepsi, and who was the other Sauber driver? I actually forgot. Lol. Biro Torpedo, that was it. But yeah, that's the end of this live stream. I'm going to drink some water because my voice is actually dying. My throat is dry as hell. So thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed it again. And I hope to see you next week for the Italian Grand Prix. And see you then.